Hi, I'm Tanner. Welcome to Tanner's Garage. Today we're going to be changing the oil and the filter on a Ford Taurus SHO. So first we're going to need to lift up the car because as you can see, we can't really fit under that. So we're going to need to raise it up. There are two ways you can do that. The first way is to use a jack and jack stands to hold the car up. The second way is to use ramps, which you can usually find for pretty cheap at garage sale. So now we need to drive the car up onto the ramps. It's easier to do this if you have somebody with you, because it's really easy to drive too far or fall off one of the sides of them. But after you do this a few times, it'll be easier to do it on your own. Stop! So for safety, we're going to want to put in a wooden block under the back tire. This is so during the process, if the car comes out of park, it doesn't roll back and crush us. First, you want to make sure the car is in park, and then you want to put the parking brake on. And while you're here, you might as well pop the hood. Now we're going to open the hood, or as the British might call it, the bonnet. A lot of newer vehicles have a belly pan under the car. This is to increase the aerodynamics and increase the fuel economy of the car. If you have that on your car, you're going to want to go ahead and remove it. So your best friend when working under a car is having good lighting. So we call this a work light or a trouble light, because if you're needing one, you're probably in trouble. So we'll remove the belly pan by taking off these fasteners. Generally, you'll be able to pull them off with just your fingers, but if you need to, you can use pliers. So we're going to need something to catch the oil, and we're going to want to position it under the drain plug. So we're going to need two tools for this job. You're going to need a wrench. You can use either a combination wrench or a socket and a ratchet. On most newer vehicles, you're going to be using a 15mm socket. But on more classic vehicles, you'll typically find a 9/16 or 5/8. Another tool you're going to need is something to get the oil filter off. So you can use an oil wrench, or you can use an oil socket, which will go on top of the oil filter, and you'll just take your ratchet and put it on, and you'll be able to remove it like that. We're actually going to need a third tool for this job. No matter how good of a mechanic you are, you're always going to get oil all over yourself, so make sure you grab some paper towels to bring under with you. So this is our oil filter on the engine. Right behind it is the oil pan. And back here is the plug that you will remove to get the oil out. We're going to remove the drain plug. You're going to want to take your wrench, and to get it going, you're going to need to give it a bang. Good thing we brought those paper towels. The oil's going to take a couple minutes to drain, but once it gets to a point like this, you might as well go and put the plug back in. There's no point in waiting half an hour for the rest to drain. Now we're going to want to position the catch pan under the oil filter. We don't have room on this vehicle to use a normal oil wrench, but on most vehicles you will. So how you're going to use it is you're going to want to put it over top of the oil filter and pinch it shut, and then you'll be able to twist the filter off. So instead, we're going to have to use our oil socket. We're going to want to put an extension on that and then attach it to a ratchet. You're going to put it on the bottom of the filter, set it to the right way to get it off, and then you'll be able to pull the filter off. Again, thank goodness we've got those paper towels. Before we put the oil filter back on, we're going to need to lubricate the seal. So just put your finger in the oil and then just rub it on the seal. You can see where the oil filter was on before. You're going to want to take the new filter and turn it on with your hand. You're going to want to turn it until it stops, and then turn it another quarter to half turn to where it's hand tight. You never want to use a wrench to turn it on, because then it'll be really difficult to take it off and you'll strip the threads. So we made a bit of a mess here. So we're going to take some brake cleaner to clean it off so it doesn't catch fire. It used to be common practice to fill up the oil filter with oil before putting it on the car, so that it wouldn't start up dry. But realistically, the car was just running and the bearings are all lubricated, and the car will be fine lasting for a few seconds without any oil running through until the filter fills up and starts pumping oil through the car. You can do it if you want, but I challenge you to find anyone in any quick lube shop who does that. So we're going to remove the oil cap and we're going to put in a clean funnel to put the oil into the engine. We're going to check the owner's manual to see what the fuel capacity for oil is. If you don't have your owner's manual, you can just Google search it. So you just go to, we have a 3.5 liter V6 super high output SHO. It says right here that we have 5.7 liters. So we're going to pull the dipstick out and clean it off, and then put it back in to measure how much oil we have filled it up so far. So we've put in 5 liters out of 5.7 liters so far. And actually it's really close to where we need to be, so we maybe only need a quarter of a liter of oil left to go. We topped up with a little more oil, so now we're going to check the dipstick to see where the oil is at. So as you can see, it's right at the line where it needs to be. So we're going to remove the funnel. Make sure you have paper towel to block off the funnel in case any extra oil is going to be dripping out of it. And then we're going to put our cap back on. When you start the engine, you're going to want to keep an eye on if you have an oil pressure gauge or for any warning lights. Everything looks good. We're going to also check under the vehicle to make sure there are no leaks. This vehicle tracks oil life based on the kilometers driven. We're going to go in and reset that. Your tools are an investment, so it's good practice to clean your tools and put them away so you can find them next time. Putting your tools back where they belong makes it easier so you can find them again, instead of having to yell at your girlfriend or your wife about fighting over her stealing your tools and you can't find them. Trust me, my dad got into a lot of that stuff. The best place for your oil is to put it back in your old jugs.
Stop.
Wipe up your excess oil first off the ground, and then use a cleaner spray and a rag to clean up the rest. And please take your old oil to your local eco station for proper disposal. We didn't put the belly pan back on, because as you can see, this one is broken, which is covered under factory warranty, so we'll take it in and get a new one. One of the best things to use to clean your hands after working on cars is some dish soap. If it's good enough to clean off ducks who are stuck in an oil spill, it's good enough to clean my hands. Now that you've seen how easy it is to do it, you don't need to spend any more money on getting a shop to do it for you. Other than pumping gas into your car, an oil change is the easiest thing you can do.